What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Atalanta, which of course ended in a draw and concluded the Champions League group stage phase. Barcelona, of course, finishing second in place. We're going to discuss the performance from yesterday, some of the post-match quotes as well, and also what's to come in the Champions League knockout rounds. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, the first point that I want to discuss is how difficult it was to break down Atalanta yesterday. You can see here the SofaScore ratings for the starting 11. A lot of players in that yellow or orange, which of course means average. You have Raphinha and Lamine, who of course got their ratings boosted due to GA. Same with Araújo as well. So if they take those away from them, this ended, for example, 0-0, everyone will be looking probably around the 6.5 to 6.9 rate in terms of that orange, which of course means it was just average and not even above average. In terms of the stats for this match, you can see the possession, of course, where Barcelona tend to, of course, usually dominate with 68% of the possession, 2.16 expected goals, which is quite high and quite, I would say, against the curve based on what I saw. 2 big chances in total, 16 shots, 3 goalkeeper saves, 7 corner kicks, 7 fouls, 611 passes, 13 tackles, and 13 free kicks. You see in the middle there, the shot map. A lot of the shots mainly taken outside the box. 7 of them were on target of the 16. 5 of them were off target, 4 were blocked, and 8 inside the box and 8 outside. So a lot more from the outside than we tend to usually do. Usually probably be, I think, around 3 to 4, but 8 this time, which of course shows how much of the low block, not really low block, but defensive line Atalanta did have in this game. 2 big chances scored for Barcelona. Of the 2 that we did create, 0 miss, which of course is fantastic. 21 touches in the penalty area, 4 fouls in the final third, and 1 offside as well. So again, these stats, what they suggest? They suggest that Atalanta had a very, very strong structure. And again, Barcelona usually creating, I would say, 8 to 10 chances per game, only creating 2 big chances in this game, which of course both of them were scored according to SofaScore, which is, you know, great clinicality from Barcelona. But again, creating that little shows how well structured Atalanta were in defensive transition. Also, you can see here the percent of the play, 34% of the ball was spent in the Barcelona half and 45% spent on the halfway line. We were talking about this, of course, during the live watch along, that first half, the entire game was basically, the entire half was majority, 90% of it spent in the Barca half. That's how high up and that's how well Atalanta were pressing as a unit as well, shifting right to left, and how difficult it was. It took Barcelona to break them down. Of course, the second half, it was much more easier, but again, only 21% of the ball was spent in Atalanta's defensive third, which is fantastic work from them. 573 accurate passes, 17 throw-ins, 43 final third entries. We had 79% success rate in our final third phase, 60% in the long balls, 31% on the crosses, which is actually not too bad. 57% of our duels won, and then of course in terms of tackles won, only 38% compared to Atalanta's 83%, which again shows how well they were breaking down our play as well. So this game basically shows that it was hard for Barcelona to break this team down. It's not your regular 3-back. It's a 3-back that has that high intensity, high pressure, that when they do press you, they force you into making a quick decision. And when you do that, it maybe sometimes pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And when they shift from right to left, especially when they're off possession, they tried their best to close the passing lanes, and that is what Barcelona struggled the most in that first half. That's why the percent play of that game, if you look at it, 45 plus 34, was that like 60, 80, almost 80%, 79% of the game was spent either in the halfway line or in Barcelona's half, which again shows that they were closing those passing lanes down. And you see those attacks during the game as well, all counterattacks from Barcelona. Barely any of them were actual natural build-up plays. So the Atalanta system was hard for Barcelona to break down. The fact they got a draw was quite, you know, successful, I would say, based especially on the statistics. Again, it could have been much more if we were a bit more lucky in terms of the 2 goals that we did concede. But again, despite this, I think that based on the Barcelona playing a team like this for the first time this season, I would classify it as overall a success or a pass. I want to shift the focus now to the players' perspective after the game, what their thoughts are, of course, on qualification, on the match as well. And they do give some good insights on how they felt the game went, especially based on the statistics that I just mentioned to you as well. First, we do have here Raphinha. He was asked in the end, he finished in second place, but it seems a bit disappointing, especially after Liverpool's loss, where he could have, of course, won first place with the win. He said, yes, in fact, we always play to win games, but we also have to take into account the quality of the opposition, and Atalanta are a strong team. I think it was more difficult for Atalanta than us because they were running all over the pitch in 1v1 situations, and that they can be a bit boring, but we knew what we had to do and we were focused on our plan. Our next rival in the UCL, we are waiting for the draw, but now we are focused on the league. When the time comes to return to the Champions League, we'll think about it then. He then asked if he understands why Lamine Yamal was always getting annoyed when he gets substituted. Of course, Raphinha suffered through that a lot under Xavi, barely completed. I don't even think he ever completed a full 90 minutes under Xavi. And Raphinha said, yes, I understand him completely, and the end is an amazing player, and he always wants to be on the pitch. I was also angry many times when I was at his age, and it's normal for him to be frustrated, and I'm trying to help him out a lot, and I'm very happy with the level that he's playing at. So we'll discuss the Lamine Yamal substitution later on, but on Rafa here, of course, focusing on the UCL later on, but on the opponents as well, full of quality, and they are, of course, a strong team. That's why it was difficult for them to break down. That's what the draw, in retrospect, isn't too bad of a result. Now we have the quotes of Lamine and Araújo, and they both go absolutely crazy with their quotes. We're going to discuss it and analyze it and break it down. Firstly, Araújo was asked on the celebrations, and like, I'm very happy. I'm giving everything for this club. God willing, I'll be here for many more years to come. If it depends on me, I will stay for many more years. Liar. We are very soon in the Champions League. We'll have to be humble. We're going to keep working. I think we had a very good first half. We wanted to finish the first in the group, and we were very close to doing that. But we played against a strong team that needed to win. In the end, we could have achieved the goal, but I'm happy. Gets it really wrong there, Araújo. I think we had a very poor first half and a good second half, and he's saying the complete opposite. Also says again, if God allows me, I will be at Barcelona for many more years. Liar. It doesn't matter whoever our rival is in the next round, we have to do our job. Then asked on his release clause of the 65 million euro release clause. He said, look, I don't know anything about my release clause. I can say that I will stay at Barcelona for a long time. Liar yet again. You're telling me you're signing a professional contract with Football Club Barcelona and you don't know the entire terms and conditions? He's lying. He knows exactly the numbers. He knows how much he's earning. He knows his exit clause. He knows the exit clause in the future. He knows every single detail of that deal. There is no way his agent is doing this behind his back. That is a catastrophe at the highest level. He here is lying. I'll tell you that right now for free, that he is lying. On Lamine said, I'm happy that we finished second place. We have to keep going. Barcelona's always a candidate to win the Champions League. For me, it's the best club in Europe. We aspire to win regardless of the opponent. We have to achieve victory and qualify for the next round. It was because of the match that we wanted to win, like in every match, but no problem finishing, of course, in second place. And then when he's asked how he felt when he was substituted, he said, look, Hansi told me to stay calm and that I played a good game. Then these players were stopped again by more reporters later on, and Araújo again was talking to the media, and he said, I give everything I have for this club ever since I arrived, and I think that the effort is now rewarded with the renewal. Fair enough. Rumors about leaving. Not everything you hear in the media is true. In fact, I don't know what circulated, but I will stay here at Barcelona for a long time. So he's claiming that he did not know any news about Juventus. Again, he is lying. Everyone knows that you talked to Thiago Motta. Everyone knows you talked to Thomas Tuchel a year ago. Who are you lying to? At least keep it 100. Yeah, I was thinking about leaving, but in the end, I decided to stay. I respect that more than him being lying. You've spoken to 2 managers in the past year considering leaving this club. So don't chat to me about, oh, I love the club, blah, 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 all this mumbo jumbo. You're just lying. Here's where it gets more crazy. He was asked on the rotation and competition between him and Inigo and Cubarsí in defense. Look, I'm very happy with the fact that Cubarsí and Inigo performed well in the first day of the season when I was injured. Competition is always very good because it is a reflection in the performances on the pitch. I mean, you wanted to leave because of the competition. Again, he is lying yet again. This man is just speaking nothing but lies. You wanted to leave because of the competition. Now that you signed a fat new deal with the easy way out, yeah, competition is good. Keep it consistent, mate. Don't come here chatting like you're the big I'm going to be a Barcelona legend on the reincarnation of Puyol when you're out here flirting with clubs every single season, and when competition really hits you in the face, you buckle and cry and try to run away. Again, it's just weird. I didn't ask on a pending situation. Said, look, I've known him since the B team, since I arrived at the club. He's a great professional. He works very hard. In the end, the decision is up to the coach, and there's always competition. But I see him doing well in training and always motivated and ready. Lamine Yamal asked about facing PSG potentially in the round 16. Said, look, we finished in second place in the standings. We're favorites against any team that we play. Whoever the team is, we'll be waiting for them, and we will hopefully beat them as well. Winning the Ballon d'Or, he was asked about this. He said, look, winning it would mean that we would have a very successful season. So yes, I do hope so. I hope I win it. So good answer there to say yes, and then also say yes on the other side. He then asked on his renewals, and that's the question from my agent. I just want to play and win. That's what I'm currently focused on. Then he was asked about him being angry on his being substitution. Now, keep in mind, Lamine Yamal was substituted in the 90th minute. There was like 4 or 5 minutes left of the game. And when he's, of course, being subbed off, when you're watching the live stream, the live watch along, he was usually upset. He spoke with Flick on the touchline, then went into the dugout. He said, I want to play every game. I get angry, yes, but then I respect the players on the bench. Obviously, they want to play too. I get angry only at that moment, but in the end, the most important thing is the team. So again, he's saying that he's just a bit salty at that point, which is understandable. You're not getting hooked at like the hour mark, the 70th minute, or maybe even the 8th minute. There's like 3 minutes left. If this is like a 75 minute substitution and he gets upset, sure, I could understand his frustration. You're getting subbed with 4 minutes remaining. It is not that big of a deal. Guys, with Raphinha, it was every time under Xavi, our mark. Even if Raphinha had a hat trick, he gets subbed off. That, I understand the frustration, and I would agree with that frustration. You're getting hooked with 3 minutes to go here. Take it, again, maybe Flick wants to freshen up the things up, rest you as well, waste time. It's probably much more than taking minutes away from you. So tranquilo, take it down a couple notches. Don't be that upset for not playing the last 3 minutes of a game. It's not that serious. I respect the ambition, I respect the motivation, I respect the desire to be on the pitch for Barcelona, but I think it needs to be taken down a notch. So these, post-match quotes from these 3 players are absolutely all over the place. You have Araújo lying 24/7. You have Lamine crying that he got something to do 3 minutes ago. Very, very weird, but hopefully this will be passed on later on, and qualification is what matters the most, of course. Now, after the players chatting absolute rubbish after the game, it's nice to get some, actual ball knowledge from the manager, Flick. We have some quotes from him after the game as well. He came out saying that I'm very happy with second place. It's a great success. Today we had a tough game. We could have defended it a bit better. Yes, Lamine was sad because he was subbed off, but it was at the end of the match and I wanted to change something. Again, fully his right to do so. Atalanta defended very well, man-to-man. We learned a lot from this game. That, for me, is a fantastic thing to know, that Flick, not only Flick, but also the players themselves, learned how to play against a certain team like this and hopefully to adjust to it in the future. Then as on the opponent for the next round, then look, it's always good to think about the next game, the next step, and I think that we will see on Friday what will happen, what the combination will be, and I'm excited about that. It's Champions League. You can always see that there are many big teams that are not in the top 8. The next round will be very difficult. Today, I saw a lot of things that we did well, but I also saw some things that we can improve upon, and that's what we have to do. We have to be and that's what we have to do. We have to make things better. You say, okay, every game after game, we try to be better for the next game, and that's what we have to do. This UCL format is completely new. It's completely new to everyone, and I think the most important thing is that you never know what's going to happen, and now I can say that I'm very grateful that because that we're under the top 8, and it's very good that we have 2 weeks now of rest instead of course, playing next week in the knockout rounds. We're playing in the next round, and we're going to see great games with very big clubs, and I'll sit on myself in front of the TV and see what they do. Of course, those round 32. Favorites to win the Champions League, all I can say is that we will fight for everything until the end of the season. I think winning the Champions League is one of the most difficult things to do. These clubs are really great, and I can see how things ended in the first stage. I always think positively. I think Liverpool are one of the best teams in the world at the moment. They play great in every game, and they have an unbelievable team as well. He then asked a very good question here, saying that do you feel the team is weaker without Pau Cubarsí in the defensive line? And he said, look, Eric and Ronald did a very great job. I think the game showed us a lot of things, and I'm very happy with that and with the combos we played with, and developed. So again, back in the 2 players that played on the pitch, but again, it's quite evidence the impact that Cubarsí has on this team. At only 18 years old is crazy. I think we can defend better as a team, and that's what we have to focus on. We have to analyze everything and improve ourselves. Again, defending is always a big question mark, but again, with the high line, it's high risk, high reward. But having, 2 clean sheets in 7 games this year is quite embarrassing. Of course, we conceded 1 against Valencia, 1 against Betis, so maybe you could say 4 and 7. But conceding 2 today, 4 against Benfica, 1 against Getafe as well. It's just the clean sheet record this season is embarrassing. But again, with the football that we are playing, I can, and I think a lot of fans can let that pass, because if I told you I want to win the game 2-0 or 7-1, probably everyone would say 7-1, which again, I can understand. But we got to be keeping better, more clean sheets to be even more better and more successful than we already are this season. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is the Champions League draw that will be taking place, of course, tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Eastern Time, where Barcelona have the opportunity to play either PSG, Benfica, Monaco, or Brest. Keep in mind, we already faced 3 of them this season. We beat Benfica 5-4, we also Monaco 2-1, and we beat Brest 3-0. So we already have experience playing those teams, apart from, of course, Paris Saint-Germain. Now you can see here on the screen right now the graphic of the table, the knockout round, should I say, and how it will work. Again, PSG, Benfica, Brest, and Monaco will be drawn against each other, and then they will draw whether they'll play Liverpool or Barcelona in what way. So Liverpool could play the winner of Monaco and Brest, and Barcelona could play the winner of PSG and Benfica. So again, I think those teams will be 100% facing each other. There's no draw for that. So PSG are going to face Benfica, Monaco are going to face Brest, even the other ones as well, I do believe. Or I think they might even do a draw for that, actually. So all 4 of those teams have a 25% chance that we get them. And then, of course, we get drawn into the other knockout rounds as well. You have on one side Club Brugge, Sporting, Borussia Dortmund, and Atalanta again. You have another one that has Celtic, Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. That's a big one. Feyenoord, Juventus, Milan, PSV. Then you also have who they'll face as well. So they could face, of course, the Atalanta. You have the Madrid one. You have Atletico Madrid and Bayern Leverkusen. The PSV Juventus one. You have Arsenal and Inter. And then the Dortmund Atalanta one. You have Aston Villa and Lille. So how it will work is that there's probably going to be 3 draw sections, one for the actual groups, the 4 together. So for example, for us, PSG, Benfica, Brest, and Monaco, there'll be 1 draw for that, for all of them, of course. Then they're going to be drawing on who they'll be facing, either 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or 8. And then they're going to also be drawing which semifinals group will be facing each other. So for Barcelona, if we can get the semifinal of Lille and Aston Villa, we are absolutely golden. I would want to avoid, of course, Atalanta and Bayern Leverkusen as much as possible. Then, of course, Arsenal Inter we can take as a second best. So there's going to be a lot of draws. Of course, there is a very, very probable chance that we could get a very easy route to the Champions League final. So, for example, let's say, out of Benfica, let's go back to the screen. From Benfica, Monaco, Brest, and PSG, who's the easiest? I'd probably say Brest, if I'm being honest. Let's say, for example, we get them. Again, if we just avoid, from my perspective, if we just avoid PSG, I'll take it. I think pretty much they're all on the same level based on what I've seen in the Champions League, but I would say Brest on paper is the easiest. So let's say, for example, we get Brest. Then, of course, we have to have the quarterfinal draw. Hopefully, the best one I would think is the Lille-Aston Villa one with Dortmund, Atalanta, Club Brugge, and Sporting. And then, of course, there'll be the semifinal draw as well, where you have hopefully Arsenal, Inter. If we just avoid that bracket that has Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern, Celtic facing Atletico Madrid, and Bayern Leverkusen. If we just avoid that, we have a very, very good route, dare I say, easy route to the Champions League final. So this draw will dictate, of course, everything that going forward. We could have a very easy draw. We could have a very, very difficult draw as well, but we'll see if luck is on our side tomorrow or not. So that was a match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Atalanta. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca. Yeah.